with us is someone that I've known now for, what, since November, pretty much, right?
Yeah, pretty much since November.
Yeah, Wendy Jaroslawski. She's the owner of her own business, and this is our Business Spotlight segment. And you own a business called Yoga for the Soul.
That is correct.
And what I love about your business, without jumping the gun, and you're going to go into more in detail, is that it's mobile right now, right?
Definitely.
So you can go visit Cash and stretch him and twist him and put him in a pretzel if you wanted to.
Well, I don't do pretzels.
Oh, okay.
Number
see, you're
one,
lucky.
I can't do them, so I don't expect my clients to do them either.
There you go. So talk about the business in general. What's it about? How'd you get started? Your background? All that good stuff.
Well, kind of started with my background is I became a power lifter in the early 90s.
Okay.
And
Cash, you can kick your butt, pal, so be careful.
I just moved my chair 4 steps away.
and I thought getting into weightlifting was going to be really great benefits for the body. Part of it is I had torn an ACL in half, so you had to build certain muscles to equalize things. So, and I decided I'll never make a bodybuilder. So I decided, okay, I'll go powerlifting. When I did that for a few years, and then I got injured. And it was like, okay, what do I find now for exercise? And one time my husband and I were on vacation and tried a yoga class, and I said, hey, this doesn't sound like it, feels like it's going to be a good thing to do. And then, of course, nothing happened for a couple of years, and we ran into a booth for Don Yoga at one of the health fairs, and they started talking about what type of yoga it was, and then they talked about it being energy-based. That sounds like the way I want to go. So I started actually in May of 2007.
Okay.
And went to class 3 times a week, and definitely found I was not flexible. And basically when you're a weightlifter, you do not have flexibility.
Sure, because the muscles tend to tighten up everything as you're building the muscle, right?
Right.
Okay. That's what I keep saying.
Well, we can work on that.
Oh, great. I'm trying to.
I have some good exercises that will help you do that.
All right.
And so then I started, they kept offering me classes, and the first one I took was a martial arts program called Don Mudo, which is energy-based, no combat. They call it a healing martial art. And then I decided, okay, then I'll go to healer school. And it got to the point where I was taking so many classes that I thought, I need to share this. So I first started teaching a class at my church. And I've got about 3 or 4 people that are pretty regular coming, and people kind of float in and out depending on what they're thinking, because it's at 5 o'clock in the evening, so you've got to hit the right kind of work crowd. And then my center manager encouraged me to do more and more, and I said, okay, I want to get paid. Well, then it was like, okay, you got to protect personal assets. So that's why I formed the company.
Okay.
And coming up with the concept, I decided, okay, I don't want to go into a studio. I prefer dealing with the small group, because I know of my personal body condition that in a big class, I don't get the attention I want. So working with 1 to 5 people, I can spend time with each person. And that's kind of where I've built, I'm working on building my reputation for, is that I will personalize it. Because now, like, Cash, he could probably do something you can't do, and you probably can do something he can't do. So that I can
No question about it.
Yeah, I can bend over and tie my shoes. He, not sure.
Oh, see, we can work on both of them.
Okay.
We can get it so he can bring his shoe up off the floor and tie it.
There you
Might
go.
be very good.
That would work for you.
That and Velcro, and I'm all set.
So I mean, this is kind of where I've come from, and with my own physical condition, I ended up having to have a hip replaced last summer, and of course it took some time out. But dealing with the before and after, I've learned how to modify things to fit me. So I know that I can modify them to fit others.
Okay. What's the most common? I don't want to say ailment. That's not the right word. But what's the most common thing that people come to you and say, Wendy, can you help me get better at this with yoga?
Okay. Well, a lot of it is people need to know how to relax.
Okay.
And that so with the type of yoga I do, it's not fast paced. So you have to learn how to slow down. You have to learn how to empty your mind of all those, I call them the negative thoughts, and leave only positive information. And kind of the way I do my class is you start out with stretching, and we all tend to have a lot of tightness in our upper body, mainly because we all use computers all the time.
Sure.
So I do a lot of concentration on the neck, shoulders, and then I work on stretches, and that'll happen for at least 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then I try to do things. Now, one thing with the type of yoga I do, which is Don yoga, is we do something called belly drumming.
Okay.
Or tapping. And people think it looks weird to begin with, but you actually take and tap, basically kind of using the term beat, but that's not as strong as that, but you tap yourself on your abdomen area. And what that does is it causes you to lose focus on anything else around you and focus on your body.
On that spot where you're tapping.
That spot, yeah. But also just bringing yourself into your body so you start feeling what's happening as you're moving. And then also what that does is that's your energy core center. So you start building energy there. And then another area I do is intestinal exercises.
Okay.
Because most of us, especially as we age, our intestines start to stiffen. And when we don't function as well as we did.
Oh, crap. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Oh, I can't wait to see the video now on this.
So it's physically, from the outside, it looks like you're moving your abdominal muscles in and out, which you are. But what you're doing is you're also moving the intestines. And then, depending on how you turn your body, you get your stomach, you get your bladder, you get your liver, and you get your kidneys. And there has been documented cases where somebody was going to have go on dialysis, and they learned about this exercise. This is back in Korea where the stuff originated. But this woman did an excessive amount, what most of us would do, but she ended up not having to go on dialysis. Her kidneys actually became functioning again.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Do people pick yoga as a I don't want to go all the way out and say a cure-all, but do you find that most people go to yoga for the purpose of trying to treat something that's wrong?
That's what we find a lot happening in our centers. Number one, doctors are recommending it because it's not a strenuous type exercise. And then two, one thing we're all to say, respect your body's condition. I know, especially with Aaron, he's a former football player, so I know he lifted weights. Well, when you're lifting weights, you do not truly respect your body.
Right. It's just how much you can rep and do, and your posture may not always be correct.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so that's the one thing we work on is posture, because we don't want you to get injured. In fact, we help you get over type of injuries that you've had.
Now, if somebody were to get into your program, do they have a set schedule? Is it a certain number of times per week, or is it a certain number of hours per session? How does that work out?
Okay, I usually work an hour-long session because that's pretty much about all anybody would want to do. And the ideal would be 3 times a week, but the minimum I would recommend is once a week. And once a week, what I do is I combine the 3 different core areas of the class. One core is your intestine work. One core is relaxation, stretching, flexibility, and the last core is brainwave vibration. Now, most people don't know what brain vibration is. What you're doing is you first start physically moving your head back and forth, and that stimulates your brainstem. And then as the music goes on, you start moving it in any way that you feel. You don't even think about it. And
where it just becomes reactionary more than anything else.
And it goes to what kind of music you do. And
sure.
That. And
okay.
One thing I try to match the music to the type of exercise. Now, I happen to be a reggae fan, so for my intestinal exercises, I use reggae music because it's got the right beat.
Cool.
And there's an exercise we call the washing machine, and I use something by the Swinging Blue Jeans.
Okay. That's apropos.
It certainly is.
Absolutely. All right, listen, we're at the bottom of the hour. Sit tight, because I have a few other questions I want to ask you about. Real quickly, not before I forget, but where, phone number, email, how can people get in touch with you before? So we'll do it again after the break, but I want to do it now.
Okay, the phone number is 702-339-3812. And to reach me, I'd prefer you going through my website, which is yogaforthesoul.net.
There you go, yogaforthesoul.net. All right, you're listening to Vegas Unwrapped. Aaron Phillips, Ricky Cash, in-studio guest. Wendy Jaroslawski, she'll continue on. I have a few questions for her, as I'm sure Cash does. I'm in the chat room. There is some commentary going on in there about yoga, and we'll see if something pops up that I can share with you that will make sense in terms of a question. We'll be right back with Wendy. Don't go anywhere.